I have dealt with some manipulators in my life, dude. And one of the funniest things is trying to get them to just admit when they're manipulating.
Yeah.
They won't do it. They can't. They're incapable of saying, I did the thing. Like, well, this happened. That's why a partnership is important. That's why you will never convince me that anything other than a monogamous heterosexual relationship is the ultimate best environment for children statistically and practically. I also don't think you should give kids cocaine, for example.
Hypocrisy.
How's it going, everybody? How's it going? Very frustratingly for me, when I ended my stream last night, I didn't know that about 20 minutes later, Null of the Kiwi Farms would say that there was some new docs being dropped. That's right. We do have a motion against Kiwi Farm Josh's lawyer and their affidavits. They sent in if you remember a few streams back, they put in quite a few, maybe 10 affidavits, lawyers included, maybe Sean, maybe Legally Mindset was in there too. You can check it out in the previous streams. But yes, they requested that next trial be open for all of you to prepare or to make sure that there is no government tomfoolery afoot. Before we get into these documents, and my voice is still a little bit sore, so give me a bit of a break. I thought we might review with a couple of old clips that were sent through to me, actually. Let's. What's this first one? Oh, it's with potentially Sean. Look at that.
One of the reasons that video is critical and should be in every single courtroom in every single case. Video and transparency of the courts is something I'm pretty passionate about. One, because I'm self-interested in making money off of them. Two, because it protects the people from judicial abuse or abuse by the state. And three, because it protects the citizenry from lies by people about the abuse of the state.
Hypocrisy.
Oh, look, that's a very, very apropos hypocrisy as well. Yes, Nick, who currently claims that the government workers, Alicia Sweep, is lying against him and that the government is doing some tomfoolery, would very much want all trials, not just his own. Well, actually, he doesn't want his own, but he would want all trials to be live streamed so that you can judge for yourself if the government is being a bit of a silly bugger, as you might say. There's another one here, actually. Let's check another 30-second clip. Let's check it out.
No. You know what?
Oh, this is with Josh Moon. Look at that.
What's actually could be really interesting about this is there could be people opting out of the public trial, the right to a public trial, because of the internet, not realizing like how bad it is to not have public trials.
Yeah, to have a what's that called, a bench trial when it's just the judge.
Well, no, I mean even bench trials are public trials, but just having like them in closed doors or behind closed doors that's one of the things that we literally fought against England about was the secret courts.
No,
so just consider that it is un-American. In fact, it is British even to not want your trial to be open to the public. Just keep that in mind as we go through these documents tonight. Kitty asks, what about josh foolery? That's just called joshing, like literally like joking around is called joshing. Which is, I actually used that quite a bit when I was younger as a bit of fun little wordplay. But let's see, let's get into these docs that have been dropped. Don't forget to like the stream and let me know in the poll if you prefer this time slot or my regular one. Some people said that like it's pretty hard to catch my normal stream because I know it's pretty early in the morning for people. It's like 9 o'clock for me. Right now it's 10 a.m. in glorious Nippon. And I am up. And you might actually be able to hear the cicadas in the background because it's blisteringly hot this summer. But let us get into this. The state of Minnesota, county of Candio High, like Nick Rekieta's high. Best way to remember that ever. Check DMs. All right, I'll check my DMs at some point, but not right now. I think I've checked all my DMs, actually. Which DMs are you talking about? Anyway, can I make this larger for you guys? Oh, shit, there we go. That's a bit better, right? You guys can see that? So this is the state of Minnesota versus Nicholas Rekieta. Defendant's motion in response to Joshua Moon's motion to allow audio and video recording. Well, I know how this should play out then, because Nick has said multiple times, we just watched 2 instances of it, that you got to keep your courts open for the public to make sure that those British government officials are not molesting you in the back rooms where they can't be seen. Introduction. This motion is submitted, I should say, in response to Joshua Moon's motion from an order from this court permitting the audio-visual recording and broadcast of all future proceedings in this matter. Defendant objects. What? Nick's objecting? Rules for thee, but not for me? How could it be? To the audio and video recording of all future proceedings in this matter, and request that the court deny Mr. Moon's motion in its entirety. Well, that's a very hypocritical thing to say, Nick. What are you doing? Background. Okay, this should be good. On August 6, 2024, Joshua Moon, through counsel, moved this court seeking an order authorizing either himself, a professional videographer. Hey, that's me. I'm a professional videographer. Well, I'm unprofessional, but I am a videographer. Or a Minnesota attorney to record the proceedings. Yes, he even joked that maybe he would send his own lawyer back with a cell phone to live stream it. But it's neither here nor there. Mr. Moon avers to be the sole member of limited liability company, which operates a website known as the Kiwi Farms, or Quickie Farms, or I call them Quickie Farms, with the URL kiwifarms.st. Hey, that's the special link that was able to let people go through when it was blocked as the .com or .org. I can't remember what it was. Mr. Moon asserted that Kiwi Farms is an internet forum that promotes commentary and discussion on noteworthy events. That's true. Included with and in support of Mr. Moon's motion and affidavit were a number of communications from the Kandiyohi County Sheriff's Office, which let's make this nice size again. Mr. Moon's counsel averred he received in response to his Government Data Practices Act request. Counsel declared that due to the volume of the material responsive to his request and the late delivery of the media, he had not had time to thoroughly review the records released by the sheriff and what they contain. On August 7th, 2024, Mr. Moon's counsel noticed that the court and parties that Mr. Olivia W. Brumk, is it Brumke? I'm not sure. I'll call him Brumk, a licensed attorney in Minnesota, had volunteered to audio and visually record the proceedings on behalf of Mr. Moon. Mr. Brump affidavit informed the court and the parties that he was a licensed attorney and in good standing in the state of Minnesota, with a Minnesota attorney ID of blah, 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 blah. I think this was reported incorrectly, though, but it's not an issue. Mr. Brumk reiterated that his Minnesota attorney ID was and in the signature block of his affidavit. However, a search at the Minnesota Judicial Branch website revealed that Mr. Lawyer's ID is the assigned lawyer to Andrea Marie Blasdell of Minneapolis and not Ovala Brumk. So I guess this is a typographical error. I'm pretty sure this is a typographical error. But I mean, if you catch someone in a spelling mistake or they mispronounce the word, that means their argument's invalid. So let me check these. All right, what is this? What is this? Pertinent information. Interesting. Okay, thank you. How shall I use that later? Now, you may remember if you watched Nick's stream yesterday, or you perhaps saw a review of it, Nick said that he couldn't stream. Well, let's back up a bit. First of all, he can't stream because those damn kids. He's too busy. The kids get taken away. He's too damn busy. The government's closed, but he's too damn busy. He can't stream. He got the kids back, allegedly. Without, I mean, I think it's under a trial supervision, but that's fine. That's fine. There's neither here nor there. He got the kids back. Guys, I can't stream still. I'm still too busy because I'm preparing for my August 21st omnibus hearing. That's why I'm too busy. This is why he was too busy. He was filing against the Kiwi Farms. He was literally trying to get back at Josh Moon. That's why he can't stream, because he's preparing this document. And yes, people are saying that it was just a typo mistake, and there is a real attorney of the name of Mr. Brumk, which I assume is the case. I think there was a 2 was turned into a 1 or something like that. Something like that. Argument. Oh, this should be interesting. The law. Counsel for Mr. Moon cited the applicable rule, albeit incompletely. Counsel cited to and quoted in part the language of Minnesota General Practice 4.02d, writing, in criminal proceedings occurring before a guilty plea has been accepted or a guilty verdict has been returned, a judge may authorize the visual or audio recordings and reproduction of appropriate court trial proceedings unless there is a substantial likelihood that coverage would expose any victim or witness who may testify at this trial to harm, threats, or intimidation. To determine whether to grant the request for audio or visual recording and reproduction, the presiding judge may consider any relevant factors, including but not limited to the positions of the parties and the wishes of the victims, the level of public interest in the trial, the necessity of coverage to safeguard defendants' rights to public trial or public's rights to access the criminal trial, the existence of security issues, courtroom or courthouse facility limitations, and public health concerns that would merit restricting observers from the physical courtrooms. Courtrooms or courthouse facilities limitations would render coverage impractical. The positive or negative effect of the recordings and reproduction on the dignity or the decorum of the trial proceedings, and the effect of recording the reproductions on transparency, public education, and public trust and confidence in the proceedings of the judicial system. The counsel, however, admitted the first sentence of the paragraph, which reads, coverage under this paragraph is subject to the following limitations. Oh, interesting. Two such limitations, at a minimum, are applicable in this matter. The first of which, should be this matter not be dismissed prior to the trial, is there shall be no visual or audio coverage of any witness, victim, defendant who is a minor at the time of the trial. Well, that's a fairly simple matter. You can just not record them when they are doing their testimony, or turn off cameras for that duration. It is entirely foreseeable that because of the charge of the alleged violation of Minnesota Statute 607, one or more witness called by the state will be a minor at the time of the trial. A blanket order to permit the audio-visual recording or broadcast of the future proceedings in this matter is unwarranted. This is a special significance as, upon information and belief, the first individual who sought information from the Kandiyohi County Sheriff's Office, who identified himself as a volunteer member of Kiwi Farms Reporting Forum, is Jason Close. Ooh, Jason Close, bit of a naughty boy. Upon information and belief, Jason Close, let me just see, the first individual who sought information. Is that true? The first individual? Because I just happen to have an interesting document here. I was going to bring this up later and check through it, but give me a second here. The first person? Don't we have... Where is it? Okay, here it is. Okay, here it is. So one of the documents that was disclosed by Joshua Moon was this 500-page report of everyone that has requested information about Nick's trial. Now, if we search, let's search for Jason Close. Jason Close. Okay, so he did submit a request. He said, "Dear Kandiyohi County Sheriff's Department, I am requesting an opportunity to inspect or obtain copies of the search warrant executed on May 23rd, 2024 on Nick's residence at the following address. For explicit clarification, this is a search warrant referenced in the State versus Minnesota of Nicholas Robert Rekieta. I'm also requesting inspection of copies of any public records which were used to establish probable cause necessary to authorize the above search warrant. Digital inspection of copies of all files is acceptable, as it is reasonable redaction of names to protect the identities of minors and valid reasons. If there is any fees or searching for copying these records, please inform me. However, I would like to request a waiver of all fees in the disclosure of all the requested information, as it is public interest and will contribute significantly to public's understanding of the arrest." Or make this larger. Can I? No, maybe I can't. I can't actually. As a volunteer member of the Kiwi Farms Reporting Forum. First of all, this is the lamest thing you could ever say. If you're not Joshua Moon, do not describe yourself as a Kiwi Farms Reporting member. Just hide your power level. Like, come on now. This reeks of like almost gay ops to me. Like, honestly, this fucking glows. This glows in my opinion. Like, it's fine if you're a Kiwi Farms member, but don't ever describe yourself as a member. Don't say, "Hey, look, I'm from the prestigious Kiwi." Like, never say that. I think most Kiwi Farm users are smart enough to understand this. I think that, like, is there any actually intelligent members that would describe themselves as a member to a public official when requesting them? Just say you're a concerned citizen or something, right? This person is either a glowy or is just really, really dumb. Anyway, my request is related to news gathering purposes. Accordingly, this information is not being sought for commercial purposes. I would request a prompt response to this request. If you expect a significant delay in responding or in filling in this request, please contact me with information about when I might expect copies of the requested records. If you deny or any of all of this request, please cite which specific exemption you feel justifies the right to refusal. Thank you for considering my request. And that was sent from... Can we see the date of this? I want to see. So Jason Close sent this on the 28th. I know it's very small. I can't seem to make it bigger for some reason. I mean, there's a... Oh, wait, no, I can just do this. Control scroll wasn't working. I'm so dependent on control scroll to enlarge everything that I didn't realize there's a little plus button here for 200% size. So he sent his request on the 28th. But there was another person that sent a request, and there's like 500 pages here. But if we search for Kurt Mueller of Uncivil Law, he sent his request 4 days earlier. And of course, there was hundreds of other people as well. So if we go back to this page, which page were we up to? I believe it was, let me see. The first individual who sought information. This is just a fucking lie. This is just a fucking lie. And it's so easy to prove that it's wrong. The first individual who sought information from the Candy Ojai County office. First of all, this dude, Jason, who is a convicted SA dude, it was 4 days later. I'm surprised. Like, this is just such a glaringly obvious lie that I'm shocked that they would include this. Like, why say the first? You don't need to say the first person, but they have to try and set this idea that it's only the bad, evil Kiwi farmers that are doing it. So that was the first glaringly obvious thing that I noticed, is that just bold-faced fucking lie. The first person, when there is literally pages of hundreds of people that we can see in real time in 4K. Well, I guess on this stream it's like 720p or something, but no, big fucking lie. But let's learn about this Jason Close guy. And don't worry, we'll get around to everything. How's it going, Jack Matt? I see you in the chat. I do try and read most of the chat, although it gets a bit harder when these streams get bigger. But you know, it is what it is. So he described himself as a volunteer member of the Kiwi Farms Reporting Forum. He is a convicted SA offender, having been convicted of CP in 2014. In this case, that immediately grabs the attention of a convicted SA, so much so that he appears to have been the first person who sought information. Like, again, this is just a lie. Like, this, don't get me wrong. This is a pretty good, like, little, like, dunk, I guess, for Nick. It's like, look, I don't like the Kiwi Farms. This is why I don't like the Kiwi Farms. And this person, who is a confirmed SA, is requesting information on behalf of the Kiwi Farms. Don't get me wrong. This sounds pretty good initially. Like, this will sway public opinion, or like, you know, people that can't really think very well. They'll definitely see this and go, "Oh, this is a big deal, right?" So he must have been like what's overjoyed when he found out that this like actual retard described himself as a Kiwi Farms member. Again, that's if it isn't a glowy. But since this is 4 days after his arrest, I think I wouldn't really call it an actual glow move. It's probably more of like a serendipitous little conspiracy or something. You know what I mean? Let me see. And there's some funny stuff we'll get to about Jason Close later in the stream. If this is a case that immediately grabs the attention of a convicted SA, so much so that he appears to be the first person who sought information from the county sheriff's office, the broadcast of these proceedings is fraught with peril, as it potentially places the minor children, the kids of defendant, on display for Jason Close and other convicted SA offenders. Because of the recorded presence and the potential exhibits that might be offered in the pretrial proceedings, protecting the defendant's minors' children is an element that is tangential to the second limitation as well. There shall be no visual or audio coverage of any pretrial proceedings, including but not limited to bail hearings, arraignment, pretrial or omnibus hearings, motion in limine, or any other proceedings prior to the jury being sworn, or any hearings that take place outside the presence of the jury. This matter is scheduled to come on for a contested omnibus hearing on August 21st, 2024. Both the timing of Mr. Moon's motion as well as his request to the court permit the audiovisual recording and broadcast of all future proceedings in this matter strongly suggest that he seeks the court leave to record, he seeks the court's leave to record and broadcast the contested omnibus, and not just the trial, should the matter not be dismissed prior thereto. Because the term shall is mandatory, the court has no discretion to grant Mr. Moon's motion for any proceedings prior to the jury being sworn. Number 2, Mr. Moon's lengthy legal analysis is irrelevant. Because of the plain language of Rule 4's limitation render Mr. Moon's analysis of the general factors superfluous, the court need not consider them. Nevertheless, due diligence requires that they be specifically addressed. Oh, very diligent. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Let me see what. Let's go on chat. Yes, don't worry. Don't worry. We'll get to that. I'm not going to forget that. That is an interesting thing. That is an interesting part. 57p. That's how much a can of noodles costs in the UK. 57p. Let me see. The defendant does not favor audiovisual access. Counsel for Mr. Moon's email defendant on May 29th, 2024, had conceded that he had received no response. From this silence, Mr. Moon assumed that defendant's position on the video access to the court had not changed. That is a bold assumption, as he cites cases upon which defendant had previously opined did not involve his or any other defendants, minors, children. Counsel for Mr. Moon declared that while the victims in this case have not specifically expressed an opinion to undersigned counsel, victims as a class also have an interest in public access to court proceedings. This begs a few questions. Who are the victims? What does Mr. Moon's counsel mean when he says that there are victims who have not specifically expressed their opinion to him? Is Mr. Moon's counsel referring to the defendant's minors' children? And if so, have they expressed any opinion to him, directly or through a third party? This is disconcerting, given the rapid involvement of Jason Close, a volunteer member of the Kiwi Farms reporting forum, and a convicted SA. B, the level of public interest is concedingly exceptionally high. All right, let's see this. It is indeed. It is that exceptionally high public interest, as evident during defendant's first appearance, which resulted in public interlocutors intruding upon the proceedings as well. So this is when they had the arraignment hearing. They had a few spicy hot mics. A couple of N-bombs were dropped, I believe, because it was a Zoom call. Very funny if you're watching it live. Very fun. I mean, I guess if you weren't there. Let's see. Intruding upon the proceedings, as well as the proceedings being recorded by parties as yet unknown and made available on social media websites. The Sixth Amendment to the United States Constitution and Section 6 to the Minnesota Constitution guarantees the defendants a right to trial by an impartial jury. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, the population as of July 1st, 2023, is 48,000 people. I guess this is of the area, obviously. Of this population, 24% or 11,000 people are under the age of 18, and 21% or 10,000 people are over the age of 65. This leaves a pool of 26,000 individuals or adults at most from which to seat a jury. Neither the defendant nor the court can undo the unlawful exposure which he has been exposed, tainting his potential venue. But the defendant does request that the court can prevent further harm to the defendant's right to an impartial jury by not further tainting the potential venue in a far smaller than what was drawn upon in Chauvin. What am I reading? I am reading Nick's motion to suppress the Kiwi Farms from recording his trial. It was filed last night by Nick. That's what I am reading right now. What? Andrew is based in Gabe. What are you talking about? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. There was I got a clip from Andrew too as well. I haven't watched it yet, but we're gonna see it. I know that Sean and Andrew streamed a bit earlier than this, but I just woke up and then they were already streaming. Judah Studio for 5 says, I'm confused. Is Nick saying that publicly showing the trial is bad now? Yes. He is literally saying it is bad, even though he previously said it is good in every instance. Do I still have those 2 clips? Maybe we'll review them later. But yes, Nick is saying, Nick's argument is literally rules for thee, but not for me. And we're going through his reasoning for saying this. All right. Argument C. Coverage is not necessary to ensure a public trial for the defendant or to protect the public's rights to access the trial. Even if the court denies Mr. Moon's motion, defendant's trial should the matter not be dismissed prior thereto, will be public, and the public will have a right to attend. Only they may not be able to attend from the comfort of their recliners and their pajamas. Oh no, they got me. They got me. I'm wearing shorts. You rat, you caught me. I'm not wearing pants. Well, I'm not wearing pants, but I'm wearing shorts. That's a funny thing to be like. So, I mean, I guess that's kind of the way these motions work, is you put through a lot of arguments and see what sticks. So it's like, well, okay, maybe they can attend, but they can't attend digitally. I guess this is probably the best you can hope for. But that's kind of funny. The comfort from their recline. I'll have you know my chair is very uncomfortable. That's why I constantly have to go like this to reseat myself. This is an old chair. It's starting to give out. It's starting to die. But they got me. They got me in my pajamas. Earlier this year, former President Donald Trump was tried by jury in a Manhattan court. Despite the international interest in that proceeding, the inability of those accredited journalists who desired to physically attend and offer commentary, former President Trump still had a public trial, and the public has the right to access the trial, even though the proceedings were not recorded and broadcast. Whilst the defendant does not claim to garner the same interest as the former president and recognizes that its involvement is involved in a different jurisdictional and venue, the general rule should be universal. Namely, the public access does not require every proceeding to be rendered into ones and zeros with unfettered abandon. Oh, what colorful language here. Very, 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 very neat, isn't that? Sean laughed when he said that when Nick says Trump had a fair trial. That is kind of funny. Security issues and alleged facility limitations do not require broadcasting any proceedings. Counsel for Mr. Moon suggests that the Kandiyohi County Court might become overwhelmed by thousands who desire to attend these proceedings. Mr. Moon's counsel may well have demonstrated that there is an interest in these proceedings, but he has offered no evidence to support any assertion that thousands of those who are interested enough to transmit the data request, form, or sign an online petition will flock to the Kandiyohi Court, overwhelming the court's facilities. Even if every individual who took in the effort to execute affidavits elected to attend in person, they would not fill the courtroom. Mr. Moon's counsel has offered no argument or evidence in support of his conclusory statement that security for proceedings in this matter are beyond the capabilities of the Kandiyohi County Sheriff's deputies who secure the courthouse. I kind of agree with this, honestly. Even though something can have like big interest online, it doesn't mean that people will show up. Like, actually showing up in real life is a big barrier. Not that I agree that this court shouldn't be broadcast, but like even if you got like 100,000 people on a live stream, maybe like 100 people might show up perhaps for like a live thing. I mean, every time you see like a YouTuber run for Congress, they're like, well, I've got 1 million subscribers. Of course I'm going to be elected. Very few people actually show up because most of your viewers are so dispersed around the world. And it's such a hassle to actually go there. And like people have jobs and shit. Like this is going to be Wednesday, like the Wednesday 21st, right? At like what, 10 a.m. People have jobs. They can't, like, you have to be like either have the day off or be unemployed and live in Minnesota within driving range to actually go there. The chances of like more than 4 or 5 people showing up is probably pretty unlikely, apart from maybe a few select interesting individuals. So I kind of agree with this point, actually. Facility issues. Mr. Moon's counsel is aware of no technological or other infeasibility of granting this request for Mr. Moon to audio-visually record and broadcast these proceedings. Mr. Moon's counsel does not aver to know if facilities are conducive to this methodology he proposes to utilize to record and broadcast these proceedings, and says as much in his motion. Well, I don't necessarily agree with this point. I think that Null is just offering to record it if the court doesn't have the capability to do so. He's saying, look, I know this is an extra burden on the court, so I will offer to go there and do it myself, so there'll be no undue cost in rebroadcast in this case. So that is argument E. Argument F. The method he proposes leaves broadcasting the testimony of minor children. Mr. Moon's counsel, to his great credit, acknowledges the inadequacy of using Zoom platform, as a public involvement in the defendant's first appearance tainted the decorum of the court. Mr. Moon's different arrangement, however, is no viable substitute, as it leaves control to a third party as to whether the testimony of a minor child is broadcast, despite the plain language of the rule that there should be no video or audio coverage of any victims, witnesses, or defendant that is a minor at the time of the trial. This is so easy to fix. The judge just says, okay, the kids are coming to testify, turn off your cameras. It's that fucking easy. It's like, okay, we'll broadcast this part of the trial, but just, okay, kids coming on, just go away. Just turn off until they come back. Like, this happens all the time in court proceedings. And obviously people do make mistakes. Like if you see like law and crime or something, sometimes they accidentally show the jury, but the judge will typically say the jury are getting up. They don't want to be broadcast. Turn off your fucking cameras. So mistakes do happen, but this is a pretty easy thing to fix. So I don't agree with this argument. Argument G. Broadcasting these proceedings is unlikely to promote transparency, public education, and public trust and confidence in these proceedings or judicial system. Unfortunately, as to this matter, those factors were lost when the members of the public ignored the entreaties and orders of the court to conduct themselves with decorum and to not record Mr. Rekieta's first appearance. Allowing the recording and broadcasting of these proceedings would be like punishing a child who raided the cookie jar by giving him the rest of the cookies. What a fat argument. I don't see how this tracks at all. Like, yes, people were goofing around on Nick on his arraignment hearing, but Nick has claimed in the past, multiple times over many years, that everything should be free and open for the purpose of preventing the government from fucking up with your case and treating you unfairly. He has also claimed in his own case that the government is fucking up and treating him unfairly. So therefore, even though people, and don't get me wrong, people that are going to watch this court case and look at his court case are absolutely going to make fun of him. They're absolutely going to use these recordings to have a bit of a joke, have a bit of a giggle at him. But it would also make it public and open to the point where people could scrutinize it and allow people to judge whether or not the government is actually doing some shenanigans against him. So I don't believe this at all. But a very fun little argument. Give you a cookie. If you subscribe and you like the stream, you get a cookie. That's how it works. That's how Mr. Beast does it. It works on children. Let me see. Conclusion. For these reasons, the defendant requests that Joshua Moon's motion be denied in its entirety for all proceedings dated August 15th, 2024. Francis White Law, defendant for the attorneys. So that, dear stalker children, is Nick's motion. But we still have more to talk about. Let me just get rid of some of these tabs. Look at all these tabs. Look at all those. Look at, where's your cookie? It's in the mail, expected in 5 to 6 weeks. That's a actual stream promise. So it seems like, oh, actually, I shouldn't have got rid of everything, but I want to reopen one of these tabs. I want to reopen the tab where it says the naughty boy. The naughty boy. Where is that one? All right, I'll just go back to the source, I think. I think it was this page. Let me just have a quick look. Yeah, it's this one. So Nick's strongest argument seems to be this one here. And that is the individual known as Jason Close. Jason Close. Oops, there we go. There we go. Jason Close. I would probably say that is the strongest argument here. Who is Jason Close? Let's take a look, shall we? There we go. Yep. So, Jason Close, convicted of possession of CP. Let's see. The Metropolitan Police Department is releasing the following information pursuant to DC Official Code, which authorizes MPD to inform the public of the location of other information pertaining to registered SOs who live, reside, and work in the District of Columbia. The individual who appears on this notification has been convicted or found guilty by reason of insanity of a... What? Is that how they say it? Has been convicted or found not guilty by reason of... Oh, I see. Okay. So they've either done it or they're insane and they did it. Of a SO offense that requires registration with the court services of the offenders, supervisor, and agency and community notification by the Metropolitan Police Department. District of Columbia requires everyone that has been convicted of a felony or found guilty to register. So he's a registered offender. There you go. That is this person. Now, who is this person? Well, I mean, we just read who he is. But there's more. There's more to this story. Let me see. Which should we go to next? What should we go to next? Chat. I guess I'll read this one. Stop Moss B with $10. It's a bit odd, isn't it, that Nick still associates with the self-admitted pedos, even though he has left Drexel. He has let Drexel, a man that groomed a child, to be in his house. That is a bit weird. That's one of the things I was going to bring up, actually, is that Nick has been seething on Twitter this last couple of hours during this the time frame that all this came out. And it seems like he's going hard in the paint against this one dude, Jason Close, who very funnily, let's have a look at this. A very funny one, this one. So during this looks to be, is this the Johnny Depp hearing? Because Nick still looks like this must be like the Rittenhouse hearing, because Nick still looks like a regular person. Like he hasn't been like He hasn't become desiccated yet. So someone found their super chat by this guy, Quirst. Quirst is actually a member of both Nick's Locals and Kiwi Farms. But you can see that he was an active member in the stream at this time. And again, I believe this is Johnny Depp, but I'm not sure because there's a lot of female attorneys. It's got to be Johnny Depp. But he says, Quirst says, for $2 dues, objection, I do not consent to this super chat. So you can see there he's an active member in Nick's community at the time, which is interesting. And now we'll go into. All right. Well, I guess we'll go through the Nick tweets. So Nick says, the first person to request body cam footage of my case was a volunteer reporter for the Kiwi Farms. He was a registered SO for CP named Jason Close. The convicted PDF file was a frequent commenter on Kiwi Farms. Well, very funnily, he was a very frequent commenter in Nick's stream as well. Then Ethan Van Skyper said, he wanted to see your kids and where their bedrooms were. People already can, you idiot. There's an online real estate listing. People can see his floor plan. Smelling kind of pedo-y, my friend. This seems to be what he's doing. He's just going to accuse everyone he doesn't like of being a pedo from now on, which is probably honestly his strongest play because people have a very visceral and honest reaction to hating PDFs, which is nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But then Aurora Store says, take the listing of your house down, dumbass. Now, this person, Jason Quirst, you can see he was a member. This is a Locals receipt. Well, actually, I guess it's like a free membership. But he has been a member of Nick's Locals for the last 3 years, basically. Now, he was a member of the Kiwi Farms for the last 5 years. It seems like he was like an actual like deranged idiot who was just like trying to stalk Tim Pool or something. But you can see there, just posting my receipts, that he was a member of Nick's Locals. And let me see. Nick also posted, he even has so many positive interactions. He got achievements. Interesting that Nick's got so much data on the Kiwi Farms. It's almost like he's always there. It's almost like he's there all the time. Smokane said to Nick, aren't you on that website reading your thread daily? You're a pretty heavy user, if so. And Nick says, no. People send me updates on occasion, but it stopped being useful to read a couple years back. Too bad. Do you think that Nick is on Kiwi Farms right now? Let's put up a poll. How much is Nick on KF? Sometimes. All day. Never. There we go. Put up a poll. I don't think anyone, but like, this is the biggest lie in the entire thing. Like, there is a lot of lying that's been going on in this courtroom. Nick's dad lying, saying that he's never seen his son intoxicated. There was a Parallax told me, like, as I ended my stream, I believe it was Parallax. He said that, and I forgot about this, but I do remember it now that it was mentioned, that Nick mixed his medication. Nick mixed his medication with alcohol. And the first time he did that, his dad saw him acting goofy. And then he was like, what the fuck are you up to, son? So his dad absolutely was committing perjury when he lied under oath, saying that he'd never seen his son use any substances. Now, before you ask, no, he's not going to get penalized for that. Like, it's very unlikely to ever really suffer from a perjury like that. But he did lie. He did lie, absolutely. What do we got here? This is a very funny one. Let's see. So someone will reveal in a second, even though you may have seen it already. The Kiwi Farms are talking about there being a PDF file and they're mixed. And it's my understanding that they are now banned. But someone said, why did you not ban him from your forum when he admitted to being a convicted CP in 2019? Who posted this tweet? None other than Vito the PDF file himself. And Nick quoting actual pedophile, Vito Giswaldi, saying, oof. It's a bit ironic in it. Drex has a charge? No. So this is something that comes up quite a lot. People mention it quite a lot. But, well, thank you for the $2, by the way. Pam Roning says Drex has a charge. What happened is that Drexel went on a stream. I believe it was Legal Vice's drink stream or something a long time ago. It was like a big panel stream where all the shit happens, right? And he told a story, and he was telling the story as if to be like, look at me, I'm so sexy. I did this fantasy situation where you bone both the mother and the daughter. Basically what happened is that Drexel, as far as I understand it, and maybe my account is not 100%, but it's pretty close to this. Drexel was dating this chick, and he took her family to Disneyland, and one of the kids was like 14 or 13 or something. And then years later, when this chick was now 18 or maybe older, in college, I believe, she wanted to get into BDSM and wanted to go to a club. And she messaged Drexel to take her there. And he's like, well, I don't want you to meet up with some weirdo, so I'll take you there to your first BDSM party. And then I think he had photos of her on his phone. And then the mum, at a later date, when Drexel was hanging out with the mum, saw that. It's like, why the fuck do you have nude photos of my now adult daughter on your phone? And it all got exposed. And it was kind of funny because everyone on the panel at the time was like, ooh, probably shouldn't tell that story again. But that's the Drexel story. And some people bring that up quite a lot. Let me see. What did I miss? Stop Moss B said for $10. Nick seems to be a lot more active on Twitter since he got his kids back. Well, yeah, anything to escape from those damn kids. You don't understand. They give them so much stress. Now, the pedophile in question, Quirst, I believe sent a super chat to Legal Mindset this morning, I guess. Maybe this afternoon for you. And he said, worth noting, I requested the warrant, not the body cam. So there you go. Words from the mouth of pedophiles himself. Look at that. Now, it is also interesting to note that Nick himself has platformed convicted SO people. He used to do streams, in fact, 5 years ago, where he actually interviews and talks to convicted SO offenders. So he's not really that worried about interacting with them. And then, I mean, he's friends with Dick Masterson as well, and Vito, who are, some of the most avid supporters of Cuties. But there's a clip here I wanted to look at. So Dick Masterson posted this, I think it was like a few hours ago. He says, lol, lazy-eyed half-wit, the legal mindset. It's weird that it doesn't link. How come that doesn't link? That's strange. Thinks Nick Rekieta G-opt his body. So I guess this is gay-opt his body cam footage by sending a convicted PDF back in time to pretend to be a Kiwi Farm user for 5 years to request his arrest, requested body cam footage last month. He says Nick's guilty because Nick's associates with a child sex offenders. These guys are so fucking dumb. Let's take a look at this, shall we? Let's take a look at legal mindset.
But yes, could it be a G-op? Yes, I think, in fact.
So I should probably mention, because there's a lot of boomers in the chat. These streams do attract a lot of boomers. A G-op means a gay-op, and a gay-op means that you're basically planning shit in Discords or basically just like internet conspiracy shit. So it's like an example of a gay-op would be like you get in the Discord with your buddies and you try and set somebody up. That's what they mean by gay-ops. Basically a setup.
This was in fact a G-op, if this is true. If this is true, what may happen here, hear me out. Certain people have been using the all my opponents are PDFs argument since May. I think we remember that argument, right? I think we remember that argument. And, it's very funny that they use that argument. Maybe they use that argument because they literally enlisted a supporter who they knew was a offender to do this in order to create a legal argument. And some might say, that's crazy, Andrew. Why would Nick ever associate with offenders? He would never do that. He's a family man, right? He's a family man. Turn your attention to Exhibit Baldo over here. This is from AF Trial Streams. 5 years ago, Nick interviewed a convicted sex offender. So we already have pretty solid proof that Nick has direct connections to convicted sex offenders. So it's not crazy to think that he could reach out to some of his sex offender buddies and say, "Hey, can you do me a solid here? Can you do me a solid? We're trying to create this theory. It's the great PDF file theory. I mean, not a crazy theory. So there's that. Yeah, someone said that stream got pulled down. I wonder why it got pulled down. I wonder why that one got pulled down, huh? Yeah. Weird, right? Brian Ullum.
There we go. So there you go. Well, this is an interesting theory. Personally, I'll give my own take at this. Like I said, I think this is what I would refer to as a serendipitous conspiracy, where they did not actually ask this guy to message them on behalf. That seems a little bit silly to me. But what I do think happened is that Nick got this document, the Rekieta binder, and just how I can search it for, say, uncivil law, uncivil law. I can search and find Kurt's request. That was 4 days before this guy. So again, Nick lying in his own court documents, or Nick's lawyer. I think what they did is they searched for Kiwi Farms. So if I search for Kiwi Farms, is that the first one that comes up? Actually, is that the first? Okay. So this document is 500 pages long. But if you search for Kiwi Farms, there's only 6 entrances. So what Nick's lawyer did, or what Nick did, is they went to this document, they searched for Kiwi Farms, and then they read the first one that comes up when you search for Kiwi Farms is from this Quirst guy. So that, in Nick's point of view, I guess it's the first request from Kiwi Farms. Let me see the other request from Kiwi Farms. Wait, every single person that mentioned Kiwi, it's literally for this one guy. Every instance of Kiwi Farms being mentioned comes from this one guy, Jason Close. So it actually seems like, I was going to say like they did a lot of work searching through every instance of Kiwi Farms being mentioned in this document. But what they actually did is they searched Kiwi Farms, and the only hit was this guy that was dumb enough to describe himself as a volunteer member of Kiwi Farms. And this guy is a retard. Trust me on this. So I guess what a fucking lucky break for them that this actually comes. Like, it's not a great argument. It's not a great argument, but it does look bad to people. It's like, because then you can definitely say like there are actual PDFs that are requesting my data. That does play well with people's heartstrings because there's such a visceral reaction, rightly so, to PDF files. There's also a bit of a funny one is that I found this Jason Quirst Internet Archive. Well, I mean, I didn't find it. The farmers found it, but I'm going to read it. It seems he has sent letters to the Supreme Court asking for his case to be dismissed or something. He obviously wrote it on purpose so Nick could use it. I don't know about that. I don't know. That's a little bit too conspiracy theory for me. I think that he just is an actual retard. That a very weird guy that sends a lot of self-important emails, and he wanted to associate with someone or with some group so he could feel, because he's like, PDFs get removed from every group. So it's like, well, at least I'm at home now with these Kiwi farmers. So this is a request from Jason to seek presidential pardon. This is maybe look into Jason's character a little bit. Okay, Mr. Quirst, or Christ, I suppose. My name is Jason Close. I seek presidential pardon. A little bit about my status. I am former military, dishonorably discharged. By dint of the crimes I was convicted, I'm a felon and an SO. Obviously, I contest all of that. Being unable to obtain a job in 3 years, I slept on a bench outside the White House. Sorry, that's a bit funny. He's like sitting outside the White House. He's like, oh, once the president comes out to get his mail, I'm going to ask for a pardon. That's my mental image of him. I use my various VA resources to stay fed and hygienic. I doubt it. Can I make this larger for you, lads? Let's see. There we go. A little bit hard to read, though, if I do that. There we go. A little bit harder. Let me see. I use my various VA resources to stay fed and hygienic, which lets me fight. I have been in DC for several weeks and have used that time to attempt to network with congressional members. I am seeking political clout to help move my pardon case along. Starting with my arrival, I maintained a logbook of every action I have taken or piece of information I've discovered. My bro, that is called a manifesto. He's writing a manifesto on the steps of the White House. There are three major aspects of this story. Whitney. I was accused of brutally graping my wife's little sister, who was 8 at the time, acquitted on these counts and specifications. Digital. I was accused of knowingly and unlawfully possessing CP. My actions and computer records indicate that I was framed by my ex-lover, and I attempted to correct by going to my superiors, convicted on 1 court and 2 specifications. Autumn. Aforementioned ex-lover violated a UCMJ law, I don't know what that is, by being married at the time. I guess it's like testifying against his wife or something. Is that what he's saying? UCMJ does not distinguish a separated status. Despite my blatantly confessing this to my investigator, never actually charged, this aspect is the linchpin of my entire case. Look, here's my opinion of this guy, dude. It seems like he was actually possessing CP, and he probably did some pretty creepy shit with his ex-wife's daughter. But then he's like, well, actually, Your Honor, she was my wife, even though we were separated, so you can't testify against me. I need my record expunged. This guy can go on the fucking wall. I don't want to see him ever again. I would not be sad if he just disappeared into the ocean. The story of this case itself has tremendous effect, a tremendous amount of information, but I will list a few bullet points to assert all of which I have documentation. Multiple constitutional violations, intentional malicious prosecution, a completely biased judge. What the fuck? So the judge was molested as a child and he would not recuse himself. What the fuck? Your Honor, I object to you proceeding over my CP case because you were molested as a child. You should recuse yourself. No, fuck off. Die. Holy shit. Tried on known tainted evidence, discs with timestamps after confiscation. Inept handling of evidence. There was a disc lodged into evidence that wasn't mine. Investigator committed perjury on the stand with his own notes align with what I claim all along, but his note statements are on stand. The special victims prosecutor recused himself over ethical concerns. Record of the trial was edited to include key exculpatory testimony. This is not a matter of missing session, but a seamless deletion of relevant events. The prosecution obtained a grape kit in the directly relevant grape trial, but it was ultimately excluded. This guy's an actual rapist. And he's like, well, actually, Your Honor, that evidence that I graped them was, it shouldn't be in there. What the fuck? This guy could, like, hang him. Lastly, and key, the prosecutor's computer expert illicitly stated under oath that there was nothing that indicated that I had ever searched for or opened or knew about in the archive files in question. There is so much more, but these stand as the biggest offenses to me. In my attempt for exposure, I have written a mostly chronological document explaining the case, but it's lengthy but detailed. I know there is more, and that is what I am missing, but I don't have access to my notes or record of trial in the current status, and I do not want to unwittingly assert inaccurate information. My Twitter exposure thread and chronicle document are both listed below. The document has will take about 10 minutes to read. There we go. He also sent letters to the Supreme. Do you guys want to see this letter to the Supreme Court? I don't know if I actually want to read it. Although this is actually pretty funny. Oh, actually, no, I'm looking at it. I think we're going to read it. Letters to Trump, pardon request, JCMU. What is this? JCMJ. What is JCMJ? What is this? I'm actually curious. Sorry, UCMJ. Uniform Code of Military Justice. Okay. Yeah. You guys don't want to see it? Wait, I just want to show a little bit. I just like this part of his thing. I am not a perfect human being. I am moody. I am prone to depression. I rant. And I feel like there's a gold mine here, but apparently nobody wants to see it. So that's fair enough. I'll defer to the chat on this one because the chat is always right. Chat is always right. Let me see. There we go. The chat is always right. We're going to talk about the white person dog face again. I got to bring this up because I'm reading fan mail now as part of my streams. But someone got very offended. This dog continues to cause controversy in my stream. This dog continues to cause so much fucking controversy. People see that this dog Because what happened is that Nick made this face. And I said it looks like the white person dog face, which is this dog. And it does. It does. It looks like... But then this one dude sent me a message. He's like, white people? White people? And then I had a bit of a giggle at this guy. I had a bit of a giggle at that guy the other day. But I got another dude came up to message me today. And he's like, I'm just willing to bet you don't make any racial jokes about anyone other than white people, which is lame. I wish I had the PPP retard alert triangle. Obviously has not seen any of my other content. But this dog, his superiority continues to cause controversy. I love this doggo. Oh dear. Oh dear. That comment aged like milk. He's obviously never seen a stream with Max Murrah before, or any of the times I've talked about India, specifically India. You know, the funny thing is, though, that all the years of me making bad jokes, insensitive jokes about every race, group, sexuality under the sun, no one has ever complained. I have never received any angry emails about making fun of Indians shitting in the streets. But I make reference to the white person dog face like once or twice. And people seethe. They seethe. Come on, white people. Take a joke. Take a joke, whiteys. You're making us look bad. You're making all the Indians look like they can take a joke more than us. Imagine that. Imagine that. Holy shit. Alrighty. I think we hit all the chats. Except for this one. The theory behind why he uses the Baldo is so sad. After having all those kids and then your PP doesn't work. Yes, the Baldo is actually a product for people that can't get hard. And Nick himself said that, like, you can't use the Baldo if you have an erection, because he's used this on his wife multiple times. But yes, it is for the man that can't get it up. And Aaron has said that Nick needed the help of the little blue pills, and he had to go downstairs while trying to bang Aaron's wife at the time, and said, hey man, do you have like an extra tablet or whatever? Like, I just, I can't get it up. The Baldo's not doing it for me tonight. I need those pills, Aaron. Bring me some snacks and bring me some pills. So that is very sad. That is very sad. Kuma brain can't make April Coom sad. Many such cases. It's true. It's true. Let me see. Indians aren't watching. Otherwise, you'd be inundated with emails that stink of curry. I love India. I love the Indians. They're so funny. They're so funny. I actually really am a bit of a... Well, I like curry. I like curry. The food, to clarify. But I don't know. Did you guys ever have the, like... Okay, I might get in trouble here. But when I was a kid, we would... I'll just say this without any other context. Have you ever heard the term curry muncher? Curry is overrated? What the fuck? This is just incorrect. Curry is fucking delicious. But my question is, have you ever heard the term curry muncher? And what do you know what it means? Natasha with $5 says, there was a time when Medicare uncovered the fairy truth about the Baldo. That's true. He came out and said it's like basically a dog dildo or some shit, because of the way the Baldos get stuck in people's vages, I suppose. Curry is just hot, no real flavor. Well, the thing is, you have to get like a white person curry, like butter chicken. That's not hot at all, and it's delicious. Absolutely delicious. A very Australian slur. That's probably correct, actually. That's probably very correct. But anyway, guys, this has just been a supplemental stream for today. It looks like potentially Sean is doing his Thursday night stream. So I'm going to send you guys over there. I tried to restream last night, but it didn't work. It didn't work. I was going to try and restream you guys to somewhere else, but I couldn't get it to work. Hold on. Let me set this up so it actually sends you over to Sean. Sean did an interview with Joshua Moon this morning. So if you want to check that out on Sean's channel, then that would be another good one to check out if you're interested in the Baldo case. We're 1 week away. We're 1 week away from the court date. Will Nick successfully block the farms? We don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But until then, I guess we'll see you when more information comes up, as I am wont to do. Thank you, everyone, for joining me for this time. If you like this time, if you're a replay crew person, Let me know if you like this time. Let me know in the comments what streams you want to see. And don't forget to like the stream. And until then, I will see you curry munchers maybe tomorrow, maybe in a few days' time. But stay out there. Stay safe out there. And have a good one. Go say hi to Sean for me. And peace. Peace, lads.